Welcome back to the Many Toys of, the show in which we go over the action figure history of various Transformers characters. And I'll be honest, I'm not too excited about today's episode because, for whatever reason, people want to know about Seaspray. Now, come along, let's get everyone who recommended Seaspray to take a bow, say hello to Nameless Henchman 4, Sammy Center 6, Confish 04, Sacrified, the Bulbasaur Guy 5563, Autobot DJ, Stinger Productions, and of course, Tax Evader on the Run. Now, I want to thank each and every one of you for recommending someone to the show, but I am going to question, why Seaspray? Do you actually give a about Seaspray? I mean, I'll talk to you about him if you want me to, but just a heads up, if you want to skip this episode, I get it. I do. What you need to know about Seaspray is he's a fumbler. He fumbles guns. He fumbles missions. He fumbles women. There's nothing about Seaspray that is endearing or engaging in any way, shape, or form. The most unique thing about him is his alt mode. Wow, he turns into a hovercraft. He turns into a small boat that isn't able to transport anyone else. Not unless they're going to be skiing behind him, that is. But even if he turns into a boat, so what? The other Autobots surf a lot. And on top of that, some of them, like Cliffjumper, just straight up drive on water sometimes. Suddenly, the boat doesn't seem all that useful. And when he transforms, he's a goof, a doofus, someone with shoes twice the size of his body. There's nothing about Seaspray that strikes me as a cool robot. Even worse, he's voiced by Alan Oppenheimer. He's voiced by Skeletor. And yet, he sounds like he's drowning on the same water he's supposed to tread. Even in his Spotlight episode, he catfishes a woman. He lies to Alana to try to get with her. It's gross. He's not cool. He's not likable. Everything about him makes my skin crawl. And that's the reason as to why I'm convinced this is a punishment. All of you guys who suggested Seaspray, you want to see if I would crack. You want to see if I can actually manage to talk about a loser like this for that long and not snap. Seaspray's original toy came out in 1985 as one of the second year of the Minibots. And like all the Year 2 Minibots, he was more unique than most of the Autobots on offer. He's very much a contemporary to Warpath or Cosmos, being an alt mode that you wouldn't expect to find amongst the Autobots. And also, like Warpath and Cosmos, his transformation's pretty simple, and his robot mode, as a result, is very, shall we say, minimalist. However, I will admit Seaspray actually does a good job at looking like a proper robot. His proportions are pretty on point. Even though his shoulder pylons are a bit strange, especially with those big fans up there, it does give him a striking silhouette. In some ways, I would say he's one of the better mini-bots to come out of Transformers, even if his colors are more than a little garish. There would have been a minor variant of Seaspray released only in Greece by El Greco. It would take nearly 10 years for another toy of Seaspray to come out, but he was included in Generation 2 in 1993. And you can see, it's just a G1 boy again, but now he has a very dark blue chrome finish, which actually does look pretty cool. I like how this appears on him. And weirdly enough, they've added a little bit of paint to the side of his leg, just making it look more like a robot and less like a transformation hinge. Small changes, but appreciated. There's also a really cute variant of this Seaspray that was only given to people who worked within Hasbro. He was turned into a Christmas ornament alongside G2 Beachcomber, and that is actually too cute for my heart to handle. It would take 20 years to get another Seaspray. Now, let's be completely fair, a lot of the G1 Minibots weren't exactly rolling in dough when it came to the 2000s, but most of them at least had name dumps in RID or the Unicron trilogy. And even Powerglide got some pretty solid universe representation. And yet Seaspray, it took him until Transformers 2010 to get a second mold. And this mold, it's cool, but it's also not very Seaspray-ish. It is a massive, massive, old-timey scuba diver of a robot that transforms into a really impressive hovercraft. This guy looks wild, like a G.I. Joe vehicle that stands up. It's kind of weird to think of this as Seaspray, And what's even weirder is the personality of this Seaspray is nothing like the goof of old. This Seaspray is a raging sociopath that destroys island nations trying to hunt down Decepticons. I don't know what Michael Bay did to Seaspray, but it terrifies me, and I am so happy that he was never able to infect Cosmos. Cosmos already killed toy lines as is. Imagine a Cosmos with the Bayverse poison. Just about a year later, Takara Tomy would release their version of this Seaspray, and you can see they gave him much bolder colors in a very questionable attempt to make him look more like G1. I'm gonna be so real with you. I think this was kind of pointless. There's no way to make this mold look G1. So, we're at the halfway point of the video now. Yeah, Seaspray has not had much in the way of love. But maybe third parties taking some pity on him. Why don't we start with Masterpiece scale, and in which case we can open with the X-Transbot's Neptune. Neptune here is actually pretty solid. His transformation's a little bit more complicated than it needs to be, but his paint is really well done. And even though you lose a lot of the detail in the yellows and blues, unfortunately that's just kind of a reality with Seaspray. Unless you get very clever with your hues, there's just not a way to make these colors blend all that well on plastic. You're going to be losing details because yellow, blue, and white is just a very garish color scheme. This is where I think Toy World made a good choice. When they did Wave Break, they went away from the cartoon design, but by giving him a little bit more surface detail, as well as making his face white, you can see that a lot more of his detail stands out. This still isn't a great looking design, but it looks a little bit more cohesive, more like a proper Transformer. Of course, if you're talking third-party masterpiece, the final word for many fans is fan toys. And fan toys apparently really like Seaspray. Either that or they really messed him up the first time, because we have two separate versions of him. Spindrift version 1 is completely fine. I actually like him a ton. He's a lot thinner in proportions, makes him look a little bit more athletic and cutesy. I like him even though he's not all that screen accurate. Meanwhile, the second Spindrift is basically a perfect one-for-one recreation of the Sunbow design. It's a lot less interesting to me for that reason, but if you're in the market for a Masterpiece Seaspray, I do think the second version is your best option. He's the best painted, the best sculpted, and they found a way to actually make the sculpting and the painting work in tandem. Even though I said X-Transbots hit a speed bump, Fans Toys knows how to make some of these garish colors work, and I feel as though Spindrift is a great example of that. Truth be told, even though Masterpiece scale is where Seasprays had a lot more love, I think he's way more impressive at the Legend scale. Just look at Iron Factory Surfing Arrow. They've cleaned him up so nicely. This is a Seaspray design I enjoy. He looks so cool. I know that this is kind of IDW flavored, but not really. And when I say not really, I mean I think he looks even cooler here than IDW were ever able to make him look. This is a sleek war machine. Magic Square has a decent little Seaspray with Surfer. In all honesty though, the only reason I'd pick this guy up is to get 4-wheel drive their Beachcomber. It's not fair. It's not fair that they put him in a 2-pack with Beachcomber, and Beachcomber, both in terms of personality, design, and also just how good this toy is always going to overshadow him. Oh, Jesus Christ, do you remember Make Toys Hover? I totally forgot about this guy. He looks real rough. Oh, Make Toys. Make Toys is usually one of the best in the game. I don't know if this is just a really early figure or what, but he is a weedy boy. With all of that said, I think the single best third-party Seaspray, and in all honesty, maybe the best Seaspray period, is the New Age Triton. Just like Fans Toys is to Masterpiece scale, New Age are the undisputed kings of the Legend scale. And I think Triton actually does a trifecta for me. It is screen accurate, to an extent, but they've made the details a little bit sharper while also softening up his face. He somehow looks both more athletic and yet also a good bit cuter than normal Seaspray. He's friendly and yet not too friend-shaped. I could put him in a good action pose while at the same time feeling like I can put him in funny poses with goofier Transformers. I think for every flavor of Seaspray out there, this is the best option. And of course, Dr. Wu's Seaspray is in a league all their own. Quite literally, because they are the only Micromaster scale Seaspray. Let's venture back into legal waters for 2014, where we can find the Creo Microchanger Seaspray, based off the Transformers 2010 Seaspray. I'm just glad that this design got a second toy, even if it is a little bit odd. 1 year later, in 2015, you can get a much more G1 friendly Seaspray in the Creon class of 85. This was an SDCC exclusive. 2017 is going to mark the beginning of the end for this video. That's when we got Titan's Return Seaspray, and I'll say it, I think that this is a good toy for Titan's Return. They had an amazing run of Legends class figures, especially the mini-bots, and Seaspray here is no exception. He looks good. You can either give him the more cartoon-accurate belly or take it off and give him a, we'll call it a gun, really looks more like a pizza box. There's also the fact that you can hide the Titan Masters in him. His proportions are solid, his transformation's a ton of fun. Even his colors are a little bit more muted, which makes him look a little bit better to my eye. Also, there's a fan mode where he becomes a toilet. 2018 would give us our most recent Seasprays, and both of them would have been exclusive to Takara Tomy markets. You could have gone the Legends Seaspray, which is just the Titan's Return guy with better paint to make him more cartoon accurate, or you could have gone the Golden Lagoon 3-pack, where Seaspray would have been alongside Perceptor and Beachcomber. And that's it. I know I had a joke throughout this video about me not liking Seaspray. Truth be told, it's not that I dislike him so much as I don't think about him. Seaspray is one of those Transformers where I can go weeks without remembering that he's a thing. I own his toy. His toy stares me down every time I record any of these videos, and yet I forget he's even there. With the exception of people who grew up with Seaspray. If Seaspray was like your first toy, I have no doubt, yes, Seaspray means a lot to you. Hell, I'm someone who would say that Transketo is one of the best characters in this franchise, entirely because I grew up with that weird mosquito asshole. But all the people who were commenting Seaspray, I think it's a lot more just curiosity as to how much love he's gotten. And the answer is not much. Not in terms of toys, not in terms of fiction. But guys, I'll ask you, which was your favorite Seaspray? And is there a Seaspray you're trying to track down right now? Our next episode should be covering one of my favorite Transformers of all time, Scrapper. And I'm hoping that the greatest Union boss on Cybertron will be able to wash out the boring taste of Seaspray. But in any case, guys, thank you so much for watching, and if you would like to support the show, I'm on Patreon now! $1 will give you access to Moonbase 1, my Discord server. $5 will allow you to watch videos early and download videos directly from me. And finally, for $10, you'll become a producer and show up in every video I make from now on. Thank you all so much for watching, and hey, we'll see what we get up to next time.